Hey, yo! Now make sure you got your shoes off, okay? Because we don't wear shoes in my kitchen. It's always barefoot in the kitchen. That's just how it is. I dangled some little carrot in front of you guys not too long ago. My messy skillet ribs. Did you try those yet? If you didn't, well, you need to. There's nothing better. I got another batch coming, and I just realized something. I did not share with you my home recipe for the sauce because I was using store-bought. There's so many kinds of sauces out there. And the worst thing for me, anyway, being a country girl, is trying to figure out which one I like. I mean, a label can only tell you so much. You have to taste it. And they don't have tastings in the grocery store, do they? There's all kinds of brand names that are really good, but there's nothing like homemade. Really isn't. So I'm going to share with you, and I got to move some little things, trinkets here, so you can actually see me do this. I'm putting I just can't keep my hands still, so I'm doing something with them all the time. All right. Basically, honestly, you really only need 3 ingredients from my sauce, except you have to know the spices I use. I don't share those very often. Now I'm mad at myself because I did not get to the store and get my Dijon mustard. Nope. And I do put Dijon mustard in my barbecue sauce. Not a lot, just enough. So I'm going to, let's see. There we go. So I'll just lean down. So you can use tomato sauce if you like. I don't. I use organic ketchup. Tomato base. You can use tomato sauce if you like. The reason why I like to use the organic ketchup is they put all their own spices in the ketchup for the taste of ketchup. When people say ketchup, say catsup. It drives me crazy when I see those bottles that say CATSUP. What's a cat got to do with it? I don't even know what ketchup has to do with it, but organic ketchup is the best thing to use because you don't have any chemicals in there. You know that. As I'm a big proponent of organic, and I'm my cat Luna over here. She's trying to check out, see what I'm doing. So if we get photobombed, you'll know who it is. Luna's little tuxedo. Hey, Luna, what you doing over there? See, Miss Nosy. We got bags in the way here. She doesn't like the sound of plastic bags. I don't blame her. That's kind of scary. So now, depending on how much sauce you like, depends on how much of this you use, because this is your sauce base. So I usually start out with 1 cup. For the base recipe, you use 1 cup. 1 cup of organic ketchup. And here I am wearing a white shirt, and I'm using tomato sauce. That's not smart on my part. No, it's not. I have my oven preheated to 300 degrees. These are going to cook for about an hour and a half. I've already pre-braised them and to repeat on braising meat. If you want to keep the natural juices and the flavor in your meat before you actually cook it, you braise it. The best place that I know of to braise meat is in an iron skillet because it sears it quickly. It sears it very quickly, and it doesn't burn it unless you leave it in there too long. So my ribs are lightly, and I mean lightly, braised. Then you're going to take the ketchup. And I don't like to waste anything. So I'm going to make sure that I scoop out every little bit. You know, probably thinking she's running around the kitchen in just her t-shirt. I have shorts under here. I may be barefoot, but I'm not stupid. Sorry, I had to say that because I just saw myself in the camera. They think I got nothing on under here, but I have shorts. I'm very warm-blooded, so I wear the shorts all year round. I don't go outside much because I'm always in the kitchen. Yeah, duh. Thanksgiving's coming. It's my time, y'all. Woohoo! Okay, now for that sweet, spicy kind of barbecue sauce, I call it good down-home barbecue sauce. The way it should taste, you need brown sugar. not white sugar, brown sugar. Now, I'll tell you a little secret about brown sugar. After you've opened the bag of brown sugar, after a while, a lot of times, unfortunately, what happens once the air gets to it, it starts to get hardened. You want to loosen it up, stick it in the microwave. Take, pop off a piece as big as you think you'll need, and you're going to put it in the microwave on defrost because it keeps the moisture come back into it. There's these they're shaped like a bear, and I don't know why they're shaped like a bear, but there's these little gizmos that you can get that you put in with your brown sugar, and it keeps it from getting hard. And I don't know how that works. I think it's kind of like silica gel, kind of like it absorbs the moisture from making it hard. And I don't know. So I'm going to put in here. I'm not going to put it in there. That would make a mess. I only did 1 cup. If I did 2 cups, I would actually put a 1/4 cup of the brown sugar. But since I'm only doing 1 cup, and you watch, I'm going to end up doubling my batch if I'm not careful. Firmly pack a tablespoon. That's firmly packed. That's what they mean by firmly packed. Now, this is one of those recipes depending on your taste buds. Mine likes 1 tablespoon. A lot of people like it a little on the more sweet southern style, so they'll put 2. I put 1. Then you're going to take your whisk, and you're going to whisk that up with your ketchup in there. And then sometimes there's lumps in there, and I end up having to beat the lumps down. It all comes out eventually. That's it. Now just make sure I've got the right amount of brown sugar for my taste buds. Nope, needs 1 more. Well, yeah, 1 more packed one. Now, when you loosely pack brown sugar, you don't get as much brown sugar. So that's why when you see a recipe that says firmly packed, they want you to get all the benefits of that brown sugar in your recipe. Now, this is what I should have done. Instead of dropping it in there, I should have put it in my hand. Use my fingers. Make sure there's no lumps this time. Now, you're probably thinking, that's a lot of brown sugar for 1 cup. No, it's not, because the other ingredients make up for it. And I didn't fib. It is 3 ingredients. This is 2. Actually, it's 4 ingredients. Yeah, 4 standard ingredients. I can't count. Now, the way you can tell that your barbecue sauce is on the right path is by the color, not just the taste, the color. Have you ever seen a barbecue sauce that is like red, like ketchup? I haven't. If I have, I don't eat it because I don't trust just red, because that means there's not much spices in there. It's mostly tomato. I love my tomatoes. Oh my gosh, I love my tomatoes. But when it comes to barbecue sauce, I gotta have the spices. So this gives you a sort of brownish red color, which is what you want. Now, if I wanted this to be really rich and dark and like decadently barbecuey, I would have had dark brown sugar. This is light brown sugar. It says dark, but it's not that dark, which is a shame. I've seen brown sugars that are really dark, and those are the best ones. A little pricey sometimes, but oh my gosh, they make your barbecue sauce wonderful. Now, there are a lot of spices you can use in barbecue sauce and play with it. Take my base recipe, please play with it. Try different things and find out what you like. And I want to hear about it. I want to hear your barbecue sauce. What spice did you use different? My main one, usually I put in it spicy brown mustard. I don't have any. So I got to use the yellow mustard. Yeah. It's okay. I like yellow mustard, but just not today. But this will be all right because I'm going to jazz it up. I know how to make it work. So whatever mustard you choose to use, you're going to do 1 teaspoon of mustard. Okay? I'm going to put that in there. Now, what I do highly suggest is after each item that you're mixing in, to mix it, whisk it in. Okay? And the only other ingredient that I put in here is Worcestershire sauce. And you're going, huh? This is heaven. When it comes to sauces, Worcestershire sauce is my best friend. It really is. I put a whole tablespoon in there sometimes, but I'm going to do 2 teaspoons today, just because. I don't want it too tangy sweet, but I don't want it too sweet either. I want a happy medium. Your Worcestershire sauce kind of mellows it out a little bit, evens it out. I want all the mustard in there. Smack that in there. And again, whisk that in. And that Worcestershire sauce is what makes your barbecue sauce that dark color, that dark brownish, reddish. Now you can tell it's red, but it really looks more brown than red. And that's what you put in there. It looks just like, ooh, I'm sorry. It looks just like this. Now, this is where the spice part comes in. Basically, that's your base. You know how they have those friendship cakes? Where they start out with a little quarter of batter and you give it to someone and you give them the instructions of what to add to it and how many times to stir it and let it sit so many days. Well, it's kind of like the same thing. Ooh, that's good already. Oh, yeah, definitely 2 tablespoons. Yeah. Because that reminds me of old home cooking barbecue sauce. Now, this is the twist. You want to give it a little punch. Something that gives you a little zing on your tongue. Even though mustard actually is made from turmeric, you add a little bit of this. I like to have a little bit of a zip. I'm going to add some turmeric to it. But there's one other spice I'm going to add. And I haven't decided how much I'm going to put in there. Sorry, when I did it the last time, I didn't put enough. So I'm going to put half a teaspoon of this because the other spice I'm going to use, I'm going to do a half a teaspoon as well. So I got get in there. That's a half. Normally I just put it in my hand. That's how we do. We don't measure stuff. Put a half a teaspoon of turmeric. That brings out the mustardy, spicy kind of taste. Now to give it an oriental flavor, if you want like a teriyaki sauce, put in soy sauce with it. That's all you do. You take this base, put soy sauce in it. Even with that turmeric in there, you put the soy sauce in there. You want a hot tangy? Put a teaspoon of chili powder in there. Now that makes a really bitey sauce. And I'm not saying, you can do this on chicken too. This is, if you do put chili powder in here, this is great for barbecue chicken. Let me tell you. Then, of course, you have steak seasoning. Let's say you have beef ribs. I have pork ribs. Put a teaspoon of steak seasoning in that 1 cup. 2 teaspoons for 2 cups. So think of it as 1 and 1. 1 teaspoon, 1 cup. 2 teaspoons, 2 cups. Okay? And if you find out that's not bitey enough or not, beefy, steak saucy enough, add another one. Then I discovered this. This stuff is amazing, amazing. It says it's salt, pepper, cumin, and sour orange. Now, let me tell you something about sour orange and cumin. Wonderful with any pork dish. Use it on vegetables. It's good on vegetables, and it says on here to use it on vegetables. I like it better on the pork and on the chicken. I don't put it on the beef. It doesn't work with beef for me, but it's an interesting blend because it's cumin and sour orange. And this is great with fish. If you've never done fish on your grill, you want to have something like this because the citrus mellows out that fishy smell. You ladies out there, you love fish, your husband loves fish, but you hate to cook it because it smells up the kitchen. Here's a clue. To get the fishy smell out of the fish when you're cooking it, you need 3 things. You need vinegar, onion slices, and orange slices. Now you can use lemon slices if you like, but the orange makes the fish taste so much better. When you poach your fish in the oven, you're cooking it in the oven because I don't do fried fish because it's not good for you having all this fried stuff. I put slices of the onion, slices of the orange right on top of the fish, along with either the vinegar. You can substitute orange juice for the vinegar. Oh my goodness, it makes the fish taste. And it falls apart in your mouth. And you don't have a stinky kitchen. You have a beautifully smelling kitchen. The onion and the citrus absorbs the smell of the fish cooking. Now, when you buy fish, if it already stinks, don't buy it. That means it's bad. You don't want to eat fish that smells. When you buy fish, it should not smell at all. It should not have any kind of odor. That's a health tip for you. So I've got seasoning in there. Can you believe that? You ever had jerk barbecue sauce? Wonderful stuff. Wakes your mouth up. It'll wake your mouth up, all right. But you can do that. These are all things that I have tried, and they're all great. I love the soy sauce for the teriyaki kind of taste, for like Asian barbecue ribs. Wonderful stuff. Now, one thing I do put in here, just because, is I put a little bit of ginger in there. There's ginger, right? Yeah. Ground ginger. And ginger is very good for you health-wise. Believe it or not. It's very good for your respiratory system. Did some reading up on it. Having asthma, you do a lot of reading about that stuff. And then if you want just good old kind of rub, Texas type barbecue sauce, you get yourself a Texas-inspired rub seasoning. Put that in there. Now that, I would only put 1 teaspoon in no matter what. I was doing 1 cup or 2 cups because I like the taste, but it can be a little bit much for me. So there's no harm in taste testing. That's what all cooks do. How do you think they come up with the recipes? They taste test everything, and they go, oh, that's good. I think I'll just put that one out on the menu. And that's how you get what you get in the restaurant. Most places. So I've got my salt, pepper, cumin, sour orange. And then I've got cinnamon, which I'm not going to put in here. Now, I could. I've tried putting cinnamon here before. It was okay. It's kind of weird. But it worked. I don't know why it worked. It just did. But I'm not going to do that this time because I got to feed these to my husband. But chili powder is a good one. Oh, paprika. I had grabbed it and I didn't bring it on here. But paprika is another pepper. So if you want to add a little bit more of the mustardy kind of peppery, aftertaste, put that in there. But I'm going to put my cumin and sour orange in here because these are pork ribs. And this goes really well with that. And I've dirtied up the way. Oh my gosh, I'm going to take 3/4 of a teaspoon. The reason I'm only doing 3/4 of a teaspoon is because I've already put turmeric in here. I don't want to overpower it. And I want to put 1/4 teaspoon of, I'm not going to use that spoon. We don't use those, alcohol. I use my hand. 1/4 teaspoon. And I've measured this before. It's pretty darn on the money. 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. Ginger has a lot of great health benefits. If you're not a ginger fan, because when you go to Asian restaurants, how there's ginger on everything, and you're like, oh God, it just depends on the ginger. I will walk around all summer long because of allergies and stuff with a water bottle, it's ice water, lemon, and ginger slices. Great for the lungs. Great for your lungs. Big proponent of it. I live by it, and it really does help me. So I've got that in there. Let's see. Taste test time. Ooh, yes. You know how when you first taste something, you taste sweet, and then you taste a little bit of heat? That's that barbecue taste. Oh, that's wonderful. You have to put ginger in your barbecue sauce. There's no doubt about it. Not a lot, because it's very strong. Just a little bit, and you will notice the difference. This is like literally the best. The best. I can eat it right out of this bowl, by the way. But I better not. So, you whisk it up really well so it's good and creamy. And as you can see, it's really a brownish red color. Okay. This is the basic kicks butt barbecue sauce, the recipe that I came up with several years ago. And the ribs not too long ago for my husband. And I made this, and he thought it was store-bought. He said, who makes that barbecue sauce on the ribs? I go, oh, it's a barefoot cook. He's like, you made this? I go, yeah. From scratch? I go, yeah. He knows me better. I don't make anything out of a box. It's always by ingredients. They say scratch. Scratch means as you make your list of ingredients, you scratch them off. So you're making your recipe from scratch. Because that way, you've added that, you've added that. That's why they call it scratch toast. Did you know that? Bet you didn't know that. Well, that's what they call it in my family. Where I grew up. So you take this barbecue sauce and braised ribs. I'm going to bring them out here just a second, just to pour this on them. And I'm going to cover each one of these little ribs. There's only 2 of us, so 1 cup usually does it as far as coverage wise. Do this like that. And it almost has an orangey color, but that's because it has the turmeric in there. And it has the ginger in there. So another yellow spice. I think it's those yellow spices that make it. Now, if I had the Dijon mustard, I would not have used the yellow mustard because the Dijon has some good stuff in there. I think it even has horseradish in Dijon mustard. So there's that. I don't want to waste any of this. I'm going to make sure I get it all out of this bowl. Grab my trusty spatula again. The first video I did, I realized afterwards, I go, okay, I ran through that so fast, but then I was up on coffee, I think that day. And I said, I need to share the sauce because the sauce is what makes it, other than the way they're cooked. They're cooked in the skillet. They're browned in the skillet. And that is a secret. When you are making a meat dish like this, and you braise the meat in the same skillet you're going to finish cooking it in, what you don't see that I see, when you braise it, there are juices that come out of that meat, and they caramelize on the bottom of this pan, okay? That, combined with this sauce and you cover this with aluminum foil, okay? You cover it with aluminum foil to keep the moisture in the meat still, and actually to add some moisture to it. And that marinates it at a low temperature. You're slow marinating this meat. I need to go get me some more aluminum foil tomorrow. Okay. So, since I want all of that heat that's going to come up through here, when I put this in the oven, I want it to reflect back to the meat and keep the moisture in it. I put the shiny side facing the meat. Now, I did have this sitting up on the stove for a little bit, and it cooled off. The pan cooled off, so I can do this by hand. Couldn't do that last time. And you want to make sure you get a good seal on it. Okay? Just like this. It doesn't have to be butt tight, just on there. And you take it, you put it in the oven, 300 degrees, hour and a half. Any more than that, and then it kind of starts. I said an hour and a half to 2 hours before, but that also is determined. It's also determined by the thickness of the meat on it. These have a really good piece of meat on them as far as thickness. So hour and a half is going to be good for that. The low temperature and the time and the spices and all, that's what allows it to do that. Here's a clue if you don't want to have to do this all in one day. You can marinate them with that sauce in the skillet in the fridge overnight. And that, when you actually cook them at the 300 and a low degree, they will really have absorbed all of that juice from the sauce into the meat even more so. And there's nothing better than a marinated piece of meat. Marinated chicken is so underrated, and it's so delicious. If you've never marinated your chicken breast, please do, because it is so worth it. I said in the notes on this video that there was a little extra bonus, and I'm going to show you a country bonus. You all are cucumber lovers, and you don't mind onions, you've got to try this. Simple but wonderful. Take your cucumbers and you slice them nice and thin. Take an onion, slice it nice and thin. Make sure it's one of those sweet vidalias. You can use a red onion. So I did a little bit of both. And you take a medium-sized onion, 1 or 2 cucumbers, depending on how vinegary you like them, if you like them more pickly, and You marinate them overnight with onions and the cucumbers and the vinegar. You don't need to add salt to it. You don't have to add a single thing to it. And vinegar, apple cider vinegar makes the best ones. You can use white vinegar if you don't really like apple cider vinegar. Use the white vinegar. I can't stand cucumbers. I can't. Because to me, to this tongue, they don't have any taste. But I love vinegar. And vinegar is good for you too, by the way. So I will eat them like this. My husband brought home 2 cucumbers the other day. And I looked at those cucumbers and I went, yeah, those are going to end up in the trash because I'm not eating them. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, I have vinegar. I'll eat them now. And I asked him, I said, do you like onions and vinegar and cucumbers? And he said, yeah. I said, good, because I made a bunch. So I gave him some in his lunch for his lunchbox. But if you like pickles, you'll love these. So give it a whirl. Make yourself some cucumbers, onion slices, and some vinegar. And I will see you all later. But remember, make sure you take your shoes off when you're in my kitchen. Now, I haven't checked up to see if she's out there. Yeah, she's waiting on you. She wasn't out there earlier.